So here we are again, going through another tough time with the pandemic. And we've shared tips and resources before, and we're going to share some more today, but I really want you to remember and know that you are not alone. How you're feeling today is very common. As I meet with other folks and talk with friends and family, we know that everyone is feeling really overwhelmed and super aware of our anxiety and different feelings with our mental health. So if the only thing you take away today is that you're not alone and everyone is feeling very similar feelings, then that's important. And to validate those feelings and to know, again, tomorrow is a hard thing for us to know what's going to happen. And, we just want you to remember that you're doing the best you can. So again, thinking about this pandemic and the seriousness that we're hearing in the news, it makes sense that you're feeling anxious. So again, try not to avoid, ignore, or suppress those anxious thoughts. Instead, just really be aware of the anxiety and accept, yep, I'm feeling really anxious, and take things in, keep things in perspective. Just being aware and notice your thoughts, and that just may be really helpful. Self-care, we've been talking about that again for the last few years, is really important at this time. If we aren't taking care of ourselves, then those worries that we're carrying about the pandemic can really be made worse. So lean on your social supports, and there's a variety of ways we can do that now virtually, which is great. What can you control? How much you're sleeping, eating healthy as best you can, exercise, and engage in enjoyable activities. Do the things you would typically do to support your health, but again, using caution and following the health and safety guidelines while doing them. We talk a lot about limiting how much information we take in from the news. So again, going to a reliable source. We can go on Facebook and learn something about every single thing in the world that might not be true. So pick something that you can trust and is the truth. But again, limit how much you're checking in on those news stations, right? Keep them to shorter times, because again, too much news, too much information about this pandemic can really be overwhelming. So seek appropriate information from reliable sources. And again, if you have the correct information, that can also be a little bit calming and maybe can lessen some of that sense of danger. So I've talked a little bit about, focusing on what you can control. So if we listen to the precautions outlined by Health Canada, by our local public health units, by those credible health agencies, we can really remember that washing our hands is important, wearing our mask, social distancing. Those are things we can control. And again, that can help lessen some of the anxiety you're feeling about the unknown. That again, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But on the other side, if you're noticing that your symptoms of anxiety, your feelings, in relation to COVID-19 or otherwise are causing you significant distress or interfering with your ability to function normally, then perhaps, reaching out for help is a really good idea. And again, there's a lot of mental health resources out there, such as CMHA. We have a 24-hour support available. We have a crisis line that is always there. So, no question, no thought is too little. Reach out, have a discussion. I often talk about, we have a lot of thoughts that kind of sit in our minds and they grow, but as soon as you put it out there and talk about it, it can really decrease that feeling of, oh my goodness, I just don't feel great. So again, visit cmhastarttalking.ca. We have a lot of different resources and a lot of different tips that can help you depending on your situation. But again, feeling the way that we're all feeling right now, the anxiety, the worry, the unknown of the future is really common. And we can, really focus on how do we take care of ourselves and how do we, just keep on going. And I know this sounds a little bit silly, but I always believe it's true, is one day at a time. We see that even with the news, one day at a time, because we don't really know what's going to happen. So focus on today, keep well, and do the best you can, because that's all anyone can do.